What's up, Warriors fans, and welcome to Warriors Latest. I am your host, Max Arizin. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like what you hear, as I do post new Warriors videos daily. Now, for the first time in a while, it's actually been a legitimately interesting weekend in terms of trade rumors and mock trades that have come out for Dub Nation. One of the biggest ones I saw over the weekend was Klay Thompson coming back to the Bay and reuniting the Splash Brothers. And it's not because I say, hey, Klay, it's a perfect full circle moment. It's more because of how well it fits with what the Warriors are trying to do. Now, I talk about it over and over and over again, how the Warriors window this season and next season, then it's done. And one of the things I really like about Klay is not only does he come back to an offense where he's very familiar, but his contract as it stands right now fits perfectly with what the Warriors are trying to do. Now, I looked into it, and this year he's going to be making maybe $16.5 million. Next year it's going to be 17.5, where it really rounds out, and then the contract's over, and then Klay can do whatever. But it fits because it's not too expensive, and the Warriors can actually trade some players away that wouldn't overall affect their current roster and would be more addition by subtraction, as it would. I looked into this trade rumor, and it would cost them Buddy Hield as well as Trace Jackson Davis, and the trade exception made by the Kyle Anderson trade with Miami. So that would work well. It might cost cost maybe a draft pick, a second round pick, or something like that as well to really entice the Mavericks. But I love this trade idea. I love the fact that the Warriors are looking into it. Like I said, it brings it back full circle and really adds a guy to the starting lineup. One who's taller than Buddy Hield would have been, fills that void. He's a proven leader, can get the job done. Yes, he has been on a downward trend the last few years. I mean, he went from what was it, like 21 points per game a few years ago down to 17 2 years ago in his last season with the Warriors, and then this year I believe it was 14.5 points per game. But we're not asking Klay to be that level of a scorer. We don't need him to average 20 points per game anymore. We have Jimmy to do that for us, along with Steph taking a little bit more of the scoring load. What he brings in is just a guy who can stretch the floor right on the corner like he always has for the Warriors, and just be a guy who can be passed out to when, say, Kuminga, if he comes back, or even when Jimmy attacks the basket, just dish it out quickly to Klay. Boom, Klay gets the quick three. And then looking at his numbers from a deeper perspective, he was shooting the ball from three at a very good clip. I believe he was shooting from 39% from three, and I still like that. I think that's solid for a starting shooting guard who isn't going to give you those same numbers on offense that he used to during the initial championship run, but he's still going to be effective. Now, from the Mavericks side, I found this a little harder to buy into, but the more I looked into it, the more I could see something coming from it. Now, the Mavericks, they know, all right, they got an older Klay Thompson. They're really down another man with Kyrie Irving being out all next year, and they have the likes of D'Angelo Russell starting at the one in Kyrie's stead. So it wouldn't be advisable to move on from Klay Thompson, but I see where they could take advantage of it. We look at it, and Buddy Hield is a much younger player than Thompson, so there's that. Trace Jackson Davis gives some additional guys on the bench, and that trade exception may come in handy before it expires. So I think there has to be a lot of enticing done on the side of the Warriors to get the Mavericks to buy into this deal, but I think it works for both sides. Hield hits it from a similar clip to Thompson, and I don't think Klay Thompson is fast enough to consistently keep up with that Mavericks team. They're going to be running and gunning with Cooper Flagg being the centerpiece of that roster moving forward. And I don't know how well that's going to mesh with Klay Thompson being an older player. But have Klay Thompson over with the Warriors. He does mesh well because he knows the offensive system. He's thrived in the system, and he knows what's going to be asked of him. So I do see that being a plus, but the Warriors have to make a substantial effort to get the Mavericks to buy in on the idea. But that's not the only rumor I heard this weekend. The other one was a straight-up one-for-one deal involving Jonathan Kuminga and the Bulls. Now, I looked into it. It's Jonathan Kuminga for Coby White. Now, I'm not the biggest Coby White fan because, again, he's a small guard. The Warriors already have a crowded backcourt of small guards. They don't need another one to add to their woes. But I looked at it a little further. Yes, Coby White did have a breakout season, 20 points per game. Left a decent amount to be desired in terms of like the assists and the rebounds. But he did pretty well in that area, and I was pretty pleased with it. Now, White is going to need an extension after this year, and I just don't see Chicago really ponying up for a guy they're not 100% sure on. For me, he looks like he could just be a perennial role player, or if on a team that has a very tall starting point guard, he would work well to offset that as a quick small guard to really get that three. And he does hit. He actually does hit the three for a solid clip. So I'm okay with that. And for me, it's more about resolving the Kuminga situation while maintaining that financial flexibility. Yes, there are going to have to be other deals done after this one is completed in order to sort of clear up the backcourt, because say he's brought in, they trade Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, get some additional pieces, and then make all those large signings that, well, not so much large signings, but let me put it this way. Those good buy low signings like Malcolm Brogdon, Seth Curry, bringing in Al Horford, guys like that. Those signings that aren't flashy but are going to be very effective for the Warriors in their chase for one more title for Steph at least. Now, I do like this deal. I don't know Coby White's play as well as, say, some Bulls diehards, but his numbers reflect as something that I can really buy into if he's coming off the bench for some instant offense. Maybe you turn him into the likes of a Lou Williams type of player for the Warriors next season, and maybe he's a competitor for Sixth Man of the Year. You never know. But I do like that idea if those other deals are really completed in order to really just balance out the roster. I don't want to see a crowded backcourt. We saw what Pods can do. We saw what Moody can do. We know what Buddy Hield can do. Yeah, they're great, but they just don't bring the championship pedigree that we need and the instant offense that we need off the bench when it comes to a solid player to fill out the roster. Now, again, we're going to go get Brogdon. We're going to go get Seth Curry. So we have those backcourt guys, but we don't need a plethora of them. I want to see them trade Moody and Hield for something we can actually use. So hopefully the Warriors will buy into this a little more and they can get that deal done. But the wildest of all the deals I've heard this weekend have to be this mock trade for Steph Castle. Now, I saw this and I'm just shaking my head. And it was Steph Castle from the Spurs in exchange for Pods, Guy Santos, and a protected first-round pick. Like, this is 2028, so it's protected top 3. And where do people come up with these ideas? Like, I understand, like, if they get that niche moment, and this will only happen during the season because they see, you look at the Spurs roster, all right, we have De'Aaron Fox. He is the starting point guard for the Spurs over the next 4 years. There is no question about that. Number 2, that's where everything else comes into play. We know Victor Wembanyama is the solid 5 for the next 15 years for the Spurs. We know, what's his name? We know De'Aaron Fox is the number 1. You've got, for the 4, you got Jeremy Sokin probably there, but that leaves the 2 and the 3. And with the 2 and the 3, that's where things get really crowded. Now, you got Devin Vassell, you've got Keldon Johnson, you've got Dylan Harper, and then you've got Steph Castle. Now that eventually somebody's going to have to be traded, but I don't think it's going to be either of the guys on the rookie deal. Now I see from a standpoint where it's like, all right, Dylan Harper comes out, guns blazing, has a great first half during his rookie season to the point where he's pushing Steph out of the lineup. Now then I see a potential trade happening, but it's so many. It's like a parlay. This is a parlay trade. So many things have to happen in order for this to really pay off that it's just so unlikely. It's like, I want to say this is like hitting, for the Warriors to actually get this trade done, it's like hitting maybe a 11-leg parlay for $1 that pays out $15,000. It's one of those things you see like just going viral on Instagram or TikTok, but it's so unlikely to happen. It's just, you got to shake your head. It's like, why are you doing this? Why you or this would be $100 parlay. It's like, why would you do this? And for the Spurs to come back and say, all right, we like Pods, we like Guy Santos, and we like that first round pick. So they're getting something like for it, but you're also, I guess you're really selling them on the idea that they're going to, they're going to really blow it up after 2027. So you expect them to be bad, but you just don't know how bad they're going to be. So I could see the Spurs buying into that if there is that situation where, all right, Dylan Harper, he's a solid 2. Steph isn't a 3. Their one is solidified for the next 4 years. So there's no place for him. Might as well sell high, get that pick. No, bet on the Warriors being bad in 27-28, and then capitalize on that potential high lottery pick if it isn't a top 3 pick. So I see the Spurs going in for it in that sense, but other than that, the Spurs are a dangerous team, and the Warriors have to watch out for them because they're going to be coming for them. I think this is that year where they return to the playoffs, not just as a play-in team, but as a potential top 6 seed where they don't have to worry about 2 potential do-or-die games. So that's where I see the Spurs right now, and only if all those things happen, all one after the other, will I see Steph Castle potentially go on the trade block, because you know what? If you're not going to develop him, send him to somewhere where he can become his future star self. Because after he won Rookie of the Year, I said this beginning of last season, he's the only superstar from that draft. Those top 2 guys that were selected, they're not gonna Alexander Sarr and Zachary. I can't even say his last name. It's so confusing, but they're going to become good players. I just don't see the star potential. Last year was probably the worst draft since 2013. So Steph Castle is the only potential superstar out of the bunch. Maybe Zach Edey if he figures it out. But other than that, I don't see any of them really getting their money's worth in terms of draft picks. So if you're going to sell him for a potential high-value pick, as well as a good role player, young role player, and controllable role player to really add some depth to the roster. But overall, out of everything I've heard this weekend, that Klay Thompson idea, easily the best idea I've heard all summer. And I know it's not a good idea because he is old and you want to build for the future, but in this timeline that we have right now for the Warriors, I like Klay Thompson back in the blue and gold because him coming back just solidifies what they're going after moving forward. You look at Kuminga, he wants to be that star for the next part of the Warriors, and I just don't see the Warriors being a team that says, okay, let's create a bridge with the likes of Moses Moody and the likes of Jonathan Kuminga. I think when they had that opportunity to do that, those back-to-back years where they didn't do great, where they got James Weissman, they got Jonathan Kuminga, they got Moses Moody, and to be honest, they struck out on all 3. I believe that Kuminga has the potential to be a star, just he's not going to do it with the Warriors. So you just got to clean house, go after the title all in, and then just blow it up in 2027. So I believe Klay is going to be the right move moving forward, bringing him in, but it's going to take substantial convincing to get Dallas to make a trade to send him back to the Warriors. Now, that's all we have time for today for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like what you heard, as I do make new content daily. And if you have any other good trade ideas that the Warriors need to do, feel free to comment below, as I love hearing your ideas. And as always, go Dubs.